Southampton and Newcastle face Brentford. The late game is Brighton against Tottenham before 4 games on Sunday. First up, it's Crystal Palace versus Leeds and West Ham against Fulham before Arsenal play Liverpool at the Emirates, and then Manchester United travel to Goodison Park to take on Everton. The match week finishes with more Monday night football as Nottingham Forest play Aston Villa. And joining me in the studio to preview all of those matches, former Premier League winner Tim Sherwood and journalist Sam Lee. Good to see you both. We're here off the back of what's been another frantic week in Europe, but positive results for all the Premier League teams, including Spurs. They were the only side that didn't actually win, Tim, but a decent draw and a much improved performance from the North London derby, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I think Antonio Conte and the Tottenham team coming in a little bit of criticism after the North London derby about the approach. You know, it was very negative, but a lot of bodies behind the ball didn't really have a go in that game and got what they deserved, which was nothing. So looking for an improvement in the performance. It's tough to go away in Champions League. They know that. Antonio Conte knows that. And I thought the performance was a little bit more encouraging the way they played. I thought they deserved to win the game. Couldn't score the goal which they needed to take maximum points. So, you know, they're still in it. They're still in it, and I think favourites to qualify out of the group.
And the 3 teams in the Europa League and the Europa Conference League all winning. Manchester United just about scraping through in Cyprus.
Yeah, well, at half-time I was thinking, it's not going to be another Man United crisis week, is it? Because you think they're just, obviously with the derby defeat at the weekend, it's another bruising result for this new United era. But overall in the Ten Hag, you think, OK, it's going some way. You think they can't lose again, can they? But no, they obviously turned it around. And, you know, West Ham winning 3 out of 3. That's great. You know, the European football's been great for them in the last year or so, and to see it starting off again and Scamacca scoring again, yeah, it's really interesting times for them. And you know, in terms of the Premier League, I think they're going to bring that form back with them and then really push on now.
Welcome back to Team Talk. Sunday's standout game sees Arsenal host Liverpool as Mikel Arteta and Jurgen Klopp prepare for the latest instalment of the Premier League Classic. Yeah, we can't wait for this one. It is Arsenal against Liverpool. Let's hear what both managers had to say ahead of the game. Jurgen Klopp, but first, Mikel Arteta.
Every game is the same. Obviously, it's a big match. It's a victory that everybody's looking for against an opponent that has shown in the last 5 or 6 years the level that they have, and we have to show against those opponents that we have raised the level and we are ready to compete against them. You always want to get better. You always see as well the weaknesses that you want to improve, and what is certain is they're a magnificent team.
It's a young team, very exciting team, doing really well, and they are in the position they are, well deserved. So, but now we go there, and obviously we don't think about the games we played against them because it makes not too much sense. But so we will try. To cause some problems. I think that makes sense, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we are too. It's certainly the standout game of the weekend, and it comes on Sunday. Who do you think is going to win this one? Is it quite a hard one to call, Tim?
It is, because I do believe Liverpool sooner or later will click. I'm not sure they're there at the moment. Arsenal certainly are. Jurgen mentions the young side, and it's exactly right. I mean, they're all listening. And we talked about Man City. Now, the 2 best players Arsenal have, the 2 players City let go, Zinchenko and Jesus, have been magnificent. So everyone seems to be fit now. He's given them a run out in Europe, Mikel. Everyone feels part of it there. Must be so happy there at London Colney at their training centre. Everyone wants to be part of this journey. Now, everyone's waiting for the trip up, as we always do, whether it's Tottenham or whether it's Arsenal, because over recent seasons they've not been able to sustain their performances. But I think it's a little bit different now. I think they're enjoying it. They're very brave in the way they approach the game. They open up the pitch, they trust each other. I mean, Xhaka, for me, I felt 6 years ago he played his last game and he threw his armband down. Now he's driving the team forward, looks like a real good leader. And, you know, the table doesn't lie. I mean, for me to stand here, we've already talked about Man City, they're not the best team in the league, but, you know, they're up there on merit because Mikel Arteta and that group of players are doing something very, very right at the moment, and long may it continue. I think game for Liverpool. Everyone expects Liverpool to maybe click. This might be the big game what they need, but it's going to be very difficult for them.
Yeah, Arsenal have been so good this season, Sam. As Tim said, there seems like such a good spirit amongst the team as well, winning in the week in Europe, but also coming into this game off the back of that North London derby win last weekend as well. How much more confidence would that give them against Liverpool?
Yeah, I think it will, and I think that's the thing. When you asked that initial question, who's going to win, I was thinking, I'm really not sure, because again, like Tim was saying, you think Liverpool will be fine. And when I'm thinking from a Man City point of view, who's going to be their biggest challenges, I think it's going to be Liverpool. But I think teams that have taken the games to Liverpool have really got some joy. You saw that table there, they've only won 2 games this season. Brighton last week played really well against them. And if Arsenal start off, you know, in that confident mood because of the last few games, and they really take the game to them with Martinelli, Saka, Jesus, and give Liverpool all sorts of problems because they've not been defending cohesively. We'll see some more about Trent Alexander-Arnold and whether he's a good defender or not when he's got those kind of tests. Van Dijk's struggled as well. And yeah, if it is classic Liverpool, then you just think, you know, they played Arsenal back end of last season. And it was like there was no doubt that they were going to get there eventually. But this weekend there really is doubt, and I think Arsenal could really get at them and expose some of their problems.
What was it that they did so well in the North London derby, Tim?
Well, I think Tottenham made mistakes. I think they played too negative. You know, they got behind the ball, they didn't really put any pressure. You don't put pressure on good players with a lot of confidence, as Arsenal have at the moment, they will open you up. And that's what they did. It's going to be a completely different game. Liverpool won't sit back. They will come at them. It might suit Arsenal. You know, there might be more room there. The trouble is, Tottenham's looked strong. I thought Tottenham looked strong and Arsenal had the ball. They were looking for the turnovers, but Arsenal were very good in possession, whereas Liverpool might capitalise a little bit more. We're all waiting for Mo Salah to come to the party. At the moment, he's had a very slow start to the season. He played a very attacking side in Europe. I think he will go with that again against Arsenal. I think Jurgen now thinks the best form of attack for them, defensively they've not been great, is to really get at sides. And Arsenal are there to be got at because they play an expansive way. You know, they play very open on the field. There's a lot of space to exploit. But if Arsenal play well and their passing's good and their interchanging is very good, as it's been, it's going to be. It's a great game to watch. It's one for everyone wants to tune into this football match because you will know what to expect. It'll be toe to toe. No one's going to take a backward step. It'll be a basketball match, and I'm looking forward to it.
Jurgen Klopp said that he wants his side to be unpredictable. To be fair, they have been unpredictable this season, but not in actually a good way.
Yeah, you're right, but that's because it's the whole. I guess what he means by that is in terms of what they're going to do up front. But yeah, on the other meaning of that word is unpredictable because Nunes, he hasn't scored since the opening weekend of the season. Firmino's actually done well. Luis Diaz is a box of tricks, but he's not quite as consistent as Sadio Mane was, and obviously Salah is a bit hot and cold. So you've got that unpredictable element. But I guess what he means is they want to have lots of threats, and they want the assists from the fullbacks again. They want the midfield's never been that kind of. They've not really contributed massively to the goals directly, but maybe just a bit more variety because at the moment it's just been a bit stodgy and relying a lot on Firmino to score goals, and obviously that's not what they've ever had to do. But yeah, I mean they certainly have been unpredictable, but not in the way that he wants.
Looking at those results though, Tim, the only 2 wins they've had in the Premier League are against Bournemouth and Newcastle. You wouldn't expect that from Liverpool, would you? At this point?
And they know. I mean,
I was looking at Newcastle, wasn't it?
Absolutely, and Jurgen knows he's got a lot of work to do. It can't be as simple as just taking Sadio Mane out of there and then falling apart. They need to find a different way. He's a big miss. We know he is. Nunes really, but he's a different type of player. He's a player who plays up as a 9, he's a 6'4", stick-on striker. Whereas before they've all been fluid in the forward areas. Jota's back inside now. I think he helps them out with creativity as well. I'm waiting for Liverpool just to come alight, and it might be this weekend. It might be the big game what they need. To get Arsenal sitting there pretty top of the table. This is the game they need to win and give them that confidence.
I think everyone is expecting that eventually things will kind of go back to where they were last season with Liverpool, and things will click, and everyone will start playing well, and Salah will be scoring goals, etc., etc. But what if they don't?
If they don't, they've got a problem. And you're absolutely right, everyone does expect it. And I'm talking like I expected. I
was looking at Newcastle, wasn't it?
Absolutely, and Jurgen knows he's got a lot of work to do. I'm waiting for Liverpool just to come alight, and it might be this week. It's not like that. It's never easy. This is the Premier League. This is a very tough league, and it might be the big game what they need, to get Arsenal sitting there.
But what if they
They've got a problem, and you're absolutely right. Everyone does expect, and I'm talking like I expect it just to happen. But there's a lot of hard work. Jurgen's talk about going back to basics, and he's absolutely. I think he needs to get back to basics. He needs to be the leader in that dress. Absolutely right. Where is that rock at the back? Where is Van Dijk at the moment? He almost looks like he's strolling through the games. He's found it very easy since he's come to the Premier League, and he's changed their fortunes. He's a magnificent player. We know them. Everyone looks across to him to say, drive us on, and I think he needs to start now. He looks to me like he's playing at one pace at the moment. It feels like it's a little bit now. Henderson has to play. They need leaders in the dressing room. Milner's come towards the end now. I don't think he will start. I think they'll play a very attacking side, but down the court, Alisson in goal, Van Dijk and Jordan Henderson are paramount importance for them because they will drive the rest of the side on, and you need to get the ball forward early. Get the ball forward too. It's not like that. It's never easy. This is the Premier League. This is a very tough league. Mo Salah at the moment, we haven't seen him. We haven't seen him because I think they're trying to make too many patterns in the middle. Man City played that way. They're very, very, patient in their build-up. Whereas Liverpool always used to win the ball when Wijnaldum was there, Milner and Henderson. They said get it forward early to Sadio Mane and to Mo Salah. At the moment, they're making too many passes. Get it forward quick. Get Trent round the outsides. You need Robertson firing down the left-hand side as well. That is how they're going to change it. They got to know what. And firing down the left-hand side as well. That is how they're going to change it. They've got to know what they've done. I think he needs to get back to basics. He needs to be the leader in that dressing room. Get the ball forward too.
That's the new Brighton manager dancing, but Liverpool far from it. Just 2 wins all season, 11 points dropped already in this Premier League campaign. And wherever you turn, Michael, Trent Alexander-Arnold seems to be the name on everybody's lips. Is he being unfairly singled out for you at the moment?
Well, I don't think there's any question that he's not in the top form, not in the form that we've seen in previous seasons. But there's lots of players. I mean, Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah. I could go through the whole team at the moment and say not many players are playing at the top of their game. So I think it is unfortunate for him. But he set these high standards, and you want to be talked about all the time. We wouldn't be talking if you were an average player. We wouldn't be doing analysis on him and we're talking about him. So he probably got to accept that and appreciate that for what it is. But there's no question that he's under the microscope, and we're going to have a look at him again in terms of some positives and weaknesses.
What in particular is going wrong for him at the moment?
Well, let's look at him from a defensive point. Nobody questions him going forward. Nobody questions the array of passing he's got, his vision, everything about him going forward is just amazing. Defending is where people are pointing the finger at the moment. And we'll have a look at a few clips here. This is against Manchester United, and the one thing I suppose you don't do in this situation is get done on a 1-2. I mean, you're exposed slightly, but a ball can come in here, the runner goes in there, and it's one of the hardest things to defend, but you've got 3 or 4 yards on your man here, so you've got to be aware, how is he going to get past me? How do I prevent it? And he's very flat-footed. The ball goes in, and it's not even close. That's the thing. They're finding it easy to get in behind. So a 1-2 there, and the ball ends up in the back of the net, which is, of course, fingers will be pointed at him. In this situation here, again, on the back post, he knows what's around him. He lets the first runner go, that's fine. He's probably shouted his man. But again, he needs to be aware what's around him. He doesn't jump, he doesn't make any effort to make it difficult for his man. And again, then we come on to the Brighton game. He didn't do too much wrong in this Brighton game at the weekend, but when the microscope's on, then everybody's going to look at you, and we'll just roll it a little bit quicker and then sew it down. In this situation, he heads it back into the danger zone. Probably not the wisest thing. Could he go back to the goalkeeper? Could he head it high and wide? And then he makes another mistake. He goes inside, starts challenging for it, then slips over, and all of a sudden his man gets on the outside of him and bangs it into the far corner. Again, in this next goal for Brighton, same thing. Decision making. Can he head it? Can he head the ball back? Can he just nod it? He can either just cushion the ball in here, can he head it back, can he just clear his lines and go? Lots of different things, but what you don't really want to do is chest it down, get caught in the middle of, in your half with Brighton players running onto you. And of course, is the run then, once he loses the ball, is he busting a gut to get back in, to challenge, to try to win it? People will question that as well. So there's a few things defensively that are going wrong at the minute. We all know that is not his strength. His strength is going forward.
And he's normally being helped out and covered, as we've seen in seasons before. When you've planned to play Liverpool, they haven't been like that, have they?
No, and I think that's, I think Mo's got the actual
strengths of what Trent is all about. I think the biggest question, what everybody always goes on about when Trent is, it's when the ball passes him as a defender, what's his reaction to it? And you see it, and you'll see it. It's more of a jog back. When he's going forward, you see him, he's sprinting. And I think that's where people have this sort of perception of Trent, and he's a forward-thinking player, but I think obviously that's where Klopp wants him to play. In terms of team talks, when other players or other teams are about to come to Anfield, I mean, if I was in your shoes, I'd be thinking, he's very dangerous, we'll have to stop it. But also on the flip side, he's probably the player that we can get out most. How would you go about tactically playing against someone like Trent?
Yeah, I mean, look, well, this is a lad who, I mean, everyone's sort of having a pop at, and what we've done in previous seasons, we've sort of stuck two out on him, because he's been the one who's been the most influential in assists, in where the play goes, where Jurgen Klopp wants to play through. You know, I think you heard him talk all the time about Jordan Henderson having to get over and help him out and be, you know, and do that defensive job for him because of the quality this lad has on the ball. So we found that in the transition, when we do win the ball back, as you've just said, we can then hopefully expose them spaces what he leaves and try and get in behind Liverpool. So, you know, I think this is, you've just said it there, at this moment in time he's going through that we've all been through it, that time where nothing's really going right. You see it there, he didn't really do anything wrong, did he, against Brighton, but he goes in, he sort of misses it, but then as he goes to turn, he's still with the player and then slips, and then it's like, oh, now he's done everything wrong. So yeah, I think sometimes it's a bit unfair, the criticism, but I think you know, he gets enough plaudits, you know, to warrant that sometimes when he's not getting it right together.
19th of October, we'll see if the West Ham Congress.
No, don't give me that, mate. Jesus, I shouldn't have done that.
No, it was a really interesting insight. But let's remind ourselves, before the Brighton game, that Trent Alexander-Arnold's manager, Jurgen Klopp, said this in his defence.
We feed too high press, very often, not always, but very often, Trent is the highest of all three in the back. So it means in a high press situation, he's the one who goes through right. And that's the way we play football. Now you can say, yeah, then defend better. Yeah, you cannot have everything. So if you want to have press, you need players in specific positions. We either way do a striker a bit wider to cover that area, and the midfield a bit higher, or we cover that the last line with three players plus Fabinho, or place the six and have him higher. So now we don't get the ball there, and the next ball goes long on that side. Yeah, now Joel, Joey, Ibu, whoever on that side plays, has to cover that, and that's fine. That's a risk we take. It's not a crazy risk. We win the ball in 9 out of 10 times, but in that one moment where we don't win it, people ask, where's Trent? And that's a question I don't understand. It's such everybody watches football that often, that long. Why you would then say, yeah, he has to be, that's his main job. Well, I told him he has to be there. So, others are doing, we press extremely brave when we are good. And actually, we defended bad when we didn't press brave. We just were waiting a little bit because nobody knew exactly, will he still go with this, all these kind of things. So, we are extremely brave in these situations.
He's been alongside Mo Salah with Egypt. So he has been called on before this season, Jamie, and Kostas Tsimikas has done well.
He has done really well, and I think even without the injury to Andy Robertson, he's starting to put real pressure in that position. He started 3 of the first 5 Premier League games and acquitted himself really well. And the performance of Robertson at West Ham wasn't at his best, so I think there'd been a chance he could have played without that injury for Robertson. This man, Gabriel, he's made a huge difference. Actually, look at that record there since he's come back into the team. Obviously, the goalkeeper's helped with that, but coming alongside.
So, 2 of the most successful clubs in the history of England. Here's Ben White, who's shown a tendency to maraud forward, but that time he's cut off by Oxlade-Chamberlain, and here is Mo Salah, who gets his shot away. But hadn't really got a clear sight of goal.
Well, that's exactly what Liverpool will want. I mentioned that before.
Just try and shrug off Tomiyasu, who's a determined defender. Pull back on the opposite side. It is Tsimikas who takes it. Matic was challenging for it. Saka, wide by Lacazette. Tomiyasu with a cross.
Oh, what a cross. And what defender by Oxlade-Chamberlain. Arsenal get Virgil van Dijk exactly.
Tried to tease his way past Tavares. Saka's got Smith Rowe making a run into the box. Tried the corner. Van Dijk with a header. Oxlade-Chamberlain carries the fight to his former club. Here's Alexander-Arnold. Thiago comes in on it. Mane in for the spell. And Ramsdale somehow reaches up to deny it.
Well, he nearly made me eat my words. Sadio Mane. I think there was still a bit of a mix-up there, but Tavares getting back into position.
Well, one back there by Tsimikas, and here's Sadio Mane, who's had Liverpool's best chance, looks to set one up here, and Salah denied again by Ramsdale.
Unbelievable goalkeeping. Mikel Arteta's got his goalkeeper to thank, because what happened on the touchline before has raised the bar in this game, the atmosphere now. Sunday with Mane as well.
Here's Trent Alexander-Arnold! It's another stop! No wonder he's smiling!
Oh, he's loving it, look at him! Brilliant from Liverpool. As I said, that touchline spat on the side of the pitch has really lifted the crowd and lifted this.
Matip. Taken down by Aubameyang. Alexander-Arnold's kick. Mane! And this time he hits the spot!
Well, it was always a perfect position for Trent Alexander-Arnold. And there's no point wondering whether that lad will deliver. He always delivers from that position.
By Saka. It's past Lacazette. And the effort was from Lokonga.
Yeah, this is where they look most dangerous.
Or rather like the game, Sadio Mane took time to spring into life. But when he did, it had a defining effect after a clash with Tomiyasu, which brought the manager's head to head with a subsequent booking that means he will be under pressure in this. Arsenal tying themselves in knots, and it's Mo Salah who struck against Gabriel, and Ramsdale uses his long reach to get it.
Well, Arsenal have
Chamberlain only helping it back to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, but Fabinho wins it back, and here's Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's broken free, and he tried to place it and gets it the wrong side of the post.
Well, he initially lost it on the edge of the box, you see it there, Chamberlain, but you just see the reaction. He starts to press Fabinho.
Tavares emerging with it, but then giving it away to Diogo Jota! So cool! 2-0! It was the error from Tavares that set him up, but Jota takes full advantage.
Well, we always have that debate when you're playing against this Liverpool team. If you want to play out from the back, are you brave or are you stupid? But certainly at the start of this second half, they played right into Liverpool's hands, Arsenal. He just doesn't see you.
Here's Tomiyasu, he's under pressure now. It's Thiago. And this time Ben White solves the problem. But again, it was Arsenal trying to slice of the action. It's Alexander-Arnold. And it's Tomiyasu. Lacazette steering it through. Aubameyang has found the gap.
Odegaard's coming on. You may think it's for Lacazette in that position, maybe not, but what a pass from Lacazette.
Alexander-Arnold. Salah makes his move. Lines it up. And Ramsdale does enough again to deny Diogo Jota. Elastic goalkeeping from Aaron Ramsdale.
Oh, it feels inevitable. This third's coming. We're nearly going to have to get another graphic in.
An expectation, and was told immediately to get straight up again by Michael Oliver. The Premier League change their managers. Jota with a header on. Mane's through. Salah's waiting on it. Salah delivers! He just had to. The Mane-Salah combination comes up with the goods again.
He's happy now.
Partey. Thomas Partey looks to bend one, and Alisson does have some work to do as he tips it over. Here's Mane. Salah. Alexander-Arnold pulls it on the cross. A volley introduction. Only just on. And Takumi Minamino helps himself to a goal. A fourth for Liverpool.
What a substitution. Minamino doesn't get too many opportunities, but he's always liable to nick a goal now and again.
The Fab Four gets Liverpool